So this is the continuation of the previous video. Facial divergence. Facial divergence is defined as an anterior or posterior inclination of the lower face relative to the forehead. Facial divergence can be of three types: anterior divergent, posterior divergent, straight or orthognathic. In anterior divergent, a line drawn between the forehead and the chin inclines anteriorly towards the chin, and in posterior divergent, a line drawn between the forehead and the chin inclines posteriorly. In straight or orthognathic, a line between the forehead and the chin is straight or perpendicular to the floor. Modal analysis. Modal analysis involves the study of the maxillary and mandibular dental arches in all three planes of space, that is sagittal, vertical and transverse plane. Modal analysis is a valuable tool in orthodontic diagnosis and treatment planning. Commonly used modal analysis are Caries analysis, Ashley-Hose analysis, points analysis, Bolton's analysis, mixed dentition analysis, Tanaka-Johnson analysis, etc. So this is Ashley-Hose analysis. It considers crowding is due to the deficiency in the arch width. It determines the need for extraction or expansion. This is done in the maxillary arch. This is measured using a divider. Here we measure total tooth material and we determine premolar diameter and the premolar basal arch width. So total tooth material is measured by the mesiodistal width of all teeth mesial to the second permanent molar, and the value is summed up. That means it is measured till first permanent molar. Determination of the premolar diameter. It is the measured arch width from the tip of the buccal cusp of the first permanent premolar of one side to the other side. Determination of premolar basal arch width. It is measured from the canine fossa of one side to the other side, or 8 mm below the crest of the interdental papilla. So now we determine the basal arch width percentage. It is premolar basal arch width by total tooth material into 100. If the premolar basal arch width is more than the premolar diameter, then the expansion is possible. And if premolar basal arch width is less than premolar diameter, then the expansion is not possible. If the premolar basal arch width percentage is 37 or less, then there is a need for extraction. If it is between 37 to 44, then it is a borderline case, and if it is more than 44, then treatment can be done by non-extraction. Points analysis. It determines the need for lateral expansion. It is done on maxillary arch. So here we determine some of the incisors, that is mesiodistal width of the all four maxillary incisors, centrals and laterals, these four. Then secondly, we determine measured premolar value. This is the measured premolar value from the distal pit of the first premolar of one side to the other. Then we measure the measured molar value from the mesial pit of the first permanent molar of both sides is considered, and then we determine the premolar value. It is calculated by SI, that is sum of the incisors, by 80 into 100. We also determine calculated molar value. It is done by SI by 64 into 100. So if the measured value is less than the calculated value, then there is a need for expansion of the arch. This is a cast measuring device. It is used to measure the palatal height index. Palatal height index is equal to the palatal height by posterior arch width into 100. The average value is 42%. It also shows the arch width measured from central fossa of one side to the other side. Cephalometry. So this is the patient and this is the mid-sagittal plane of the patient. This is an head holding device, cephalostat. These are the ear rods. They are 2 in number. They prevent the movement of the head in horizontal plane. Here we have the orbital pointer. So this is a film or distal sensor, and this is the X-ray source. The distance between the X-ray source and the mid-sagittal plane of the patient is 5 feet. Landmarks, cephalometric landmarks. Cephalometry makes use of certain landmarks or points on the skull that are used for quantitative analysis and measurements. It can be of 2 types: anatomical landmarks and derived landmarks. Anatomical landmarks represent the actual anatomical structures of the skull, that is gnathion, gonion, PTM point and sella are the anatomical points. Derived points are the landmarks that have been obtained secondarily from anatomical structures in cephalogram. So they are like nasion, orbital, sella, point A, point B, etc. So here this is nasion, this is orbital, this is anterior nasal spine, this is point A, point B, pogonion, gnathion, this is menton, this is posterior nasal spine, this is PTM point, which is an anatomical point, articulae, sella, porion, Bolton's point, and basion. So nasion is the most anterior point midway between the forehead and the nasal bones on the frontonasal suture. Orbital is the lowest point on the inferior bony margin of the orbit. Porion is the highest bony point on the upper margin of the external auditory meatus. Sella is a point representing the midpoint of pituitary fossa and sella turcica. It is a constructed point in the mid-sagittal plane. Point A is the deepest point in the midline between the anterior nasal spine and alveolar crest, between the two central incisors. It is called subspinal. Point A is also called subspinal. Point B is also called supraspinal. It is the deepest point in the midline between the alveolar crest of the mandibular and the mental process. So, basion is the median point of the anterior margin of the foramen magna. Anterior nasal spine is the anterior tip of the sharp bony process of the maxilla in the midline of the lower margin of anterior nasal spine. Gonion is a constructed point. It is present at the junction of the ramus plane and the mandibular plane. Pogonion is the most anterior point of the bony chin in the median plane. Menton is the most inferior midline point on the mandibular symphysis. Gnathion is the most anterior inferior point on the symphysis of chin. Articulae is the point at the junction of the posterior border of the ramus and the inferior border of the basilar part of occipital bone.